Okay. Hi, everybody. I am excited to have John Burke with me today for an interview. Let me tell you about John. John spent 15 years working in publishing and bookstores. He's the co-founder of PubSite. It's the easy-to-use website builder for books and authors. And he's the COO of FSB Associates, the premier online book marketing firm. So he has a lot that he can tell us. Today we're going to talk about websites for authors. What's most important, what you need to think about. And I'm really excited to have someone to talk about this because I didn't even know that there was somebody I could talk about. So I'm really excited to have discovered John. Thanks, John, for agreeing to do this interview.
You're very welcome, and thank you for having me.
Tell us first about domain names for authors and what you recommend.
Okay, usually we recommend that an author is going to build a website, and it's going to be sort of their home base. It's where they're going to project their image out, where they're going to brand themselves. So we always suggest that you try to use your own name in your domain name. And now I know in some cases it's not going to be available. My name, John Burke, the first time I checked in 1996 was already taken. So, but that you can do other things. You can do like, Jane Smith Books or, johnburkeauthor.com.
Right.
Or you can use .org or .net. Some authors do that. And the reason we advocate that is that, again, this is where you're going to establish your presence and your brand. And if you get a domain name for your first book and launch a website for your first book, then what do you do when the second book comes out?
Yeah.
And the third book? We've had many authors come to us that have 2 or 3 websites. So that spreads your efforts, your marketing dollars, your marketing time. And generally, you're not going to be able to keep them all updated. Then if you use your book domain name and design a site around it, it won't match your next book. So you have to redesign your site. So we advocate using your own name or some variation of it. We recommend that you register it at what's called a domain name registrar like GoDaddy. I think Google now does it, or register.com, Network Solutions. Avoid registering it through where you're going to host your website. Some authors do that. They find somebody to develop their website for them, and that person then takes care of the domain name registration. We've had situations where authors came to us and they didn't even have access to their domain name because they did it like that. And we've had to try to figure out how to get access to it. Or when they want to move their website, and someday you will want to move your website. You're not going to have it developed and hosted at the same place forever. And when that time comes, you don't want to have to also then move your domain name, because believe it or not, that can be a bigger headache as moving your website. So keep your domain name separate from your hosting. Now, if GoDaddy now offers websites, so if you register your domain name at GoDaddy and you're going to host there, that's okay, because then when maybe you're going to leave and go somewhere else to Wix or PubSite or somewhere else, you can just still leave your domain name registration at GoDaddy.
Oh, right. Okay.
So that's kind of what we recommend on domain names.
Well, that makes sense. I never really thought about keeping the domain name separate from your hosting company.
Yeah, especially, we've run into extreme situations where the original webmaster that developed the site and registered the domain name was not cooperative when we went to develop a new site elsewhere. So they didn't make it easy for us to gain access to that domain name and move it. So avoid those situations.
Yeah, because they don't want to lose your business. They want to.
Right. Or they're
Yeah.
offended that they are losing your business.
Right.
Most, webmasters are good people 99% of the time. They're just perfectly fine and cooperative, but you don't want to take that chance that it
Right.
could be the one that's not.
Yeah, exactly. So what are the essential elements of an author website, just generally speaking?
Well, generally, obviously, it's about you and your books. So that's the main thing. You want to first have a home page that has both you and at least one or two of your books mentioned and featured on it. I see some authors where they like the wow factor in design, where they want animation and things moving, and that takes up your entire home page. Avoid that. It's better to have a kind of a simple, clean home page with you and your books. Maybe a paragraph about you and your photo, and then a button to click through to read more. Likewise, whatever books at that time you want to feature on the home page, have the book cover, maybe a paragraph with a button to read more, and you can have multiple books like that. You might want to also have, your blog, maybe your latest blog post on the home page. So those are the variety of things that you might want to put on the home page. But the home page is important real estate, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And it's important to search engines. So you want to have all of the keywords and phrases about you and your books, including your name, what you've done, your book title, the keywords or topics of your books. You want to have those on the home page in text, not as a graphic, because graphics are sort of invisible to search engines. So that can be your home page. Then, of course, you want to have an author page. And we encourage a good long bio. If people get to your website and click through to read more about you, they're interested. Mm-hmm. So, have a good long bio, what you've done, what qualifies you to be writing, the books you've written. It can be personal too, though, what inspired you to write, but have a good long bio. And then you can have other things, additional photos. You can have interviews, any sort of additional information about you. And that doesn't necessarily have to be on the same page. You can have sort of about the author in a button in your main menu, but then it has a drop down for interviews, photos. We've had some people put their cat photos up or their dog photos, and that's perfectly fine, as long as it's well organized. You don't want them to get to about the author page that's 30 pages long with all that stuff on one page. Break it up so they can zero in on what they want to know or what they want to see. So that's one thing. And then, of course, your books, whether it's one book or 30 books or more, you want to have information about them all. You want to have the book cover, good book descriptions, review quotes, and we advocate putting each book on its own page.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask you. Yep. Mm-hmm.
And the big reason to do that is, first of all, they deserve their own page. And then it's hard to send out a link to somebody to say, here, hey, take a look at my book, if it's on a page with 10 other books and you have to scroll down to get to it. Okay, so you'll have a book that has its own page. You can send out a link, even in the web address or URL. It will contain words about the title, or it might contain the title. So it'll be johnburke.com/this book I wrote is the URL. And that's very helpful. And search engines will take that into account. And, when you send somebody a link, they'll immediately see what it's about, what book it is. So give each book its own page. Then you can also have, excerpts, and that could be either, usually if it's a very short excerpt, it can go on the same page as the book description. If it's a longer one, put it on its own page. or better yet, put it up as a link to a PDF of the excerpt.
Hmm.
And the advantage of a PDF is that if you get basically the PDF from your actual book, your manuscript, it will look exactly like that. The font, the page layout, everything will look exactly like your book. Whereas if you make it a page on your website, it's just going to be kind of text. You can try to style it a little bit, but you won't be able to make it look like your book. So we advocate that. And then for other elements on the website, you have to have a contact page. That's one of the important reasons for your website, is so people can contact you. And don't be afraid about getting too many. We should all be so lucky. If something happens that you end up getting too many, then you can just say something on your website. Sorry, the volume of mail was too high, and I decided I can no longer do this. We've had some authors do that.
Mm.
Then other elements, if you're going to blog, that's always a good thing. You're a writer, so you may as well blog. You have long periods in between books, so it gives new content to your website. Always have fresh content. You can write about things not necessarily, but it's good to write about things write about topics in your book. If your book covers a certain topic, say, some sort of ailment, if then there's, say there's something in the news, a new finding or treatment or drug for that, write about it. Say, hey, I was reading the New York Times yesterday, saw this article about this topic that I address in my books. So I thought, I'm writing about it, write your opinion about it. So that's good content that you can have on your website, helps with search engines and so forth. And then another thing is a lot of authors want to do some sort of press or media room. And that's always useful to have. And the way you think about that page is, if someone is coming into your site, someone that might be interested in reviewing your book, or they're interested in interviewing you or writing about you, what would help them the most on that page? Obviously, you already have your bio, but if there's anything additional about that, or if you want to include a PDF of your bio that they can download, or if you want to have your resume or CV that linked to it on PDF that they could have. So information about you, review quotes, even if you do put them on a book page, if you have some really good review quotes, if the New York Times said something nice about one of your books, you want to feature that everywhere. That could be on the homepage, the book page, the author page, the press page. You want to make sure
on your forehead.
Yeah, right on your forehead. You want, if you have that sort of quote, no matter what page they come into your site, and they won't always come in on the home page. They may not come in on the press page. They may find a link to one of your individual books. So you want to make sure that really important information can be found everywhere. Another thing to have on the press page is links to media coverage. If you have been interviewed, your book's reviewed, or whatever, have that information on there too. Say, you can call that, online coverage or something that you've gotten. Because then somebody coming in will say, oh, wow, this person, they're somebody, they've gotten a lot of online coverage already. They've been on CNN.com or whatever, WebMD or wherever. So that's a good thing to have. And then files that media can download. It's very easy to just put up your book cover and an author photo. You can use the same ones that are on your website and put those on there. But then also some reviewers for print want what's called a high resolution font.
Right.
Okay, and that's usually a minimum of 300 DPI, dots per inch, often maybe 600. So if you can obtain a file like that, what's called a high resolution file, offer that also for print. And it's just something to know about that is you can always downsize an image both in size and resolution. So err on putting higher resolution images up, and then if people want to download them, they know how to downgrade the resolution, because with a large high resolution image, the file size is very large. It's often too large to use on the web. So, but people know how to download those. So, that's, those I would think are the key elements. Something I also tell people related to the cat and dog photos is that your website is the one place where you can put anything you want. You can't really do that on Amazon, your author page on Amazon. You can't do it on Facebook. You can't do it on Twitter. And even sometimes on a social media site, for all you know, that site can disappear, or they could decide, okay, we're changing and something you put up will disappear. So your website is really your home base. It's the only thing that you have complete design and editorial control over. So, and that's right up there with why should you have a website? And every author today needs to have a website, even if it's very basic and very simple. You have to have some place where you can point people or send people, or that if they do a Google search, they can find you. And then, yes, you can put anything you want on it. And like I said before, also, as long as it's well organized, so you're not overwhelming people. Don't try to fit it all on the homepage, and don't try to put 10 pages of information on one page. Just split it up neatly and nicely, so people can, maybe in a drop-down menu, find that additional content. Or when it gets to the author bio, instead of putting the interview on that page, say at the end of your bio, say, click here for an interview, the interview I had on Salon or whatever. So just organize it well so it's not overwhelmed. And don't put in a menu button for everything, because that can overwhelm people. We advocate no more than about 8 menu buttons, and then have the rest as drop downs. Because I've gotten to sites where they have 20 menu buttons or more. You just don't know where to go. So, there's just too many choices. Whereas if it's organized almost by topic, about the author, books, media, contact, just have those core ones. And there could be other appearances. Of course, that's another, if you are doing appearances, that's a key element to have on your website. So have those, maybe 8 or 10 buttons and everything else as submenus to that.
Right. And do you advocate contact forms rather than putting your email address?
Generally, yes, because a contact form done correctly will hide your email address.
Right.
Whereas if you put it on the page on your site, the spammers can do what they call harvesting emails. They have little programs or bots that can go out and just grab email addresses off of web pages. And that's how many of us, got spammed so much. So if you use the right form, it'll hide that address so they can't get it. It's basically not on the page, it's hidden somewhere else.
Right, yeah. My new site has a contact form, and it's a strange thing to me. I don't like them, but they seem to be a necessity because of the spammers, so.
Yeah, they really are. And actually, I think I think you'll find that visitors might be a little more likely to write to you if there is a form. Because they get there and it's sort of like,
Looks more professional.
Yeah, it's more professional, and it's right there. Okay, this is where I put my name. This is where I put the subject. This is
Yeah.
where I put, instead of clicking on the email address and having their email program open up.
Yeah. Yeah. Unlike the olden days.
Yeah, and another, yeah, right. And then another thing about contact forms, though, is I know you might be tempted to ask the visitor for a lot of information.
Mhm.
Resist that.
Yeah.
It's pretty much correlated. The more you ask, the less likely they'll write to you.
Right. Yeah. It's not
There's
the
no
place to
reason to be
harvest.
asking them for their phone number or address or any of
Mhm.
that stuff.
Right.
You just want their, hopefully their name. That's a good one to get. Their name,
Yeah.
their email address, and the message they want to write to you.
Mhm.
If it's going to go a step further than that, then you can write back to them. You'll have their email address and ask them for more information. But if you ask for it up, if somebody asks me for my phone number and it's a required field, there's a little chance I'm going to send it to them.
Yeah, I feel the same. Unless I'm signing up for a call with them,
Right,
I'm
right,
not inclined to give someone my number. I
right.
There was something recently where I just decided not to do it because I thought they're gonna call me and try to sell me. It was
Mhm.
a company, and I didn't want that. If they wanted to email me and try to sell me, fine, but
Right,
not call and interrupt whatever I'm doing.
right, right.
Um,
So
um,
yeah, the more you ask for, the less messages you'll get.
Yeah. If you want, if an author is, because a lot of the people I work with are coaches, they're using their book as a way of building a practice. So they do want to gather email addresses for a list, which is
Mhm.
something they would have on their homepage. Can you talk to us about the new law in Europe and how to comply with that? And is that something you know?
Yeah. First of all, just to touch on mailing lists and forms and so forth. We definitely advocate it. It's a great thing to do. Gathering email addresses is probably an important thing that you want to do, because anyone who's that interested in you or your books is a person you want to be in touch with regularly.
Mhm.
And there's a good chance that when you send out a message that your new book just came out, there's a much higher likelihood that they'll buy it over anybody else.
Right.
So you want to do that. We advocate using a third-party service like MailChimp,
Hmm.
Constant Contact. Another one people seem to like is Mailer Lite. And then what you do is you just set up an account. They're all free to start. MailChimp, I think, allows you to have 2,000 addresses before they start charging you. And then you just go in and set up, just kind of set up a form. You can use their default form. Then they just give you a little paragraph of what looks like code, but you just have to copy it and then go to your website and paste it in pretty much. And then you'll automatically have a sign up form on your site. And then it goes straight into your list at, say, MailChimp. So it's very easy to do, and everyone should do that.
Okay. So yeah, so the code goes in, obviously your HTML on
Right.
your site, which if you don't know how to do it, pay somebody to do it.
Yes. Yes,
Otherwise, you
absolutely.
could easily mess that up.
Yeah. But yeah, you definitely want to be collecting addresses.
Yeah, yeah. So it sounds like there really isn't much difference between, say, a fiction and poetry author versus a nonfiction author. And the
No,
rest.
probably not. I would say, maybe in design a little bit that, a fiction poetry might want to lean towards maybe a little bit more of a stylized site.
More artsy.
Where, yeah, maybe a little more artsy, but don't go overboard. Like I said in the beginning, don't overdo it.
Mhm.
We're all for kind of clean simplicity, and you can look very professional and elegant with a clean, simple site. Some of the most professional and elegant sites are.
Mhm.
Whereas nonfiction, I don't think you need that quite as much. Yeah, so I don't think so. I don't think there's a huge difference. on whether it's fiction or nonfiction.
It would probably be more different just in tone and
Right.
and style of writing, perhaps.
Yeah, obviously, yeah. The style of writing will probably be very different. The blogging might be very different because a solid nonfiction author might be writing factual facts about a topic,
Right.
whereas a poet might be writing more free association or
Musings and thoughts and
musings, so forth. So that sort of thing. So so that it would have a different feel, but in terms of what you have on your site, I would think it's probably pretty similar.
Okay. Are there any sites you want to show us, or?
Sure. Let me just scroll through my little notes here. And how are we doing on time?
It's 3:30 right now.
Okay.
In my time, which is 12:30 yours. So we're doing okay.
Okay. All right. And then I just want to throw in one more thing about design.
Okay.
When you do go, many authors will try to find a person to design the site for them, design and develop the site for them. If that's the route you want to go, because there's everything from do-it-yourself options that cost nothing to hiring a high-end design firm in a major city like New York and pay $20,000 for it.
Right.
Okay? Most authors obviously are not going to go that route, but many don't want to go the do-it-yourself route either, so they're going to get somebody to do it. And I would suggest looking at their portfolio. And if you can, choose someone that has done author and book sites. They're very different. If you have a designer that's done nothing but, local restaurant and plumbing sites, it's just very different. Or even if they've done photography sites or music sites,
or corporate,
again, it's still very different. Photography sites are totally 100% graphical. And book sites are text. You have a lot of text content, book descriptions, author bios, interviews, chapter, excerpts from the book. It's a lot of text. So you don't want a site that's looks like a restaurant site or photography site. So that doesn't really work. So try to find somebody that's done author or book sites, and there's many, many of them out there. Okay, so then what I'll do then is I will share my screen and just go through some sites.
Okay.
Okay, let me know when you see my screen.
See it? Yep.
Okay, all right, and I'm just going to introduce PubSite here. There are many do-it-yourself platforms. There's Wix, there's Squarespace, there's WordPress.com, and there is PubSite, which is relatively new. We just launched it earlier this year. The big difference with PubSite is that it's only for books and authors. We've been developing under our FSB Associates company, we've been developing author websites for over 20 years. And we've developed all types from scratch. We've done WordPress sites, other sites. And so finally what we decided to do was come up with a platform that was only for books and authors. So we have put our 22 years now of experience with authors and author websites into this product. So as you can see, here are some of the author websites we've done, a portfolio. And I actually, my partner, who owns FSB Associates. I'll show you her site because it has a lot of features. A lot of authors, will want to do other activities, maybe speaking, consulting, writing a blog, and so forth. So this is what she has on her site. And as I said earlier, some of the key things are home, and so you're going to want to have you and your book on the home page. articles to, links to articles. Then, of course, you're going to have your book. It's the same book, different editions. And then as a drop-down menu under book is media. And here are, links to articles that Fawzia has written, download images of the author book, review quotes, and so forth. A link to an interview in a magazine. So this is sort of thing that you can put on your media press page. People will come in here and say, oh, wow, this person's got a lot of coverage. But then also, Fawzia offers book publicity services. She does consulting. So she has a page for each one of these. It's well organized. You can easily find what you want. She does a lot of speaking. So she has a page on speaking with some photos. Photos are always good. You do want to maybe break up the text a little bit when you do have a lot of text. So if you have photos, add them in there. They're always appealing. And then under speaking, she has her schedule. And this is a module that is built in the PubSite websites where you just go in and basically fill out forms and it'll put everything in for you. And the neat thing about this too is once the date passes, it automatically drops down to recent appearances from
nice.
And then Fawzia's blog. And PubSite has the ability to import WordPress blogs. So if somebody already has a WordPress site, in WordPress, there's a way to export your blogs, and then you can come to PubSite and import them. And then for contact, as you can see, there's a mailing list sign up down here, which appears in the side column. So it's on every page, but it doesn't hurt to put it here too on your contact page. And then she has some information about what she does, and then the form, which you can use to write her. Her recent blog posts are listed over here. So this is a kind of a full-featured website with for someone that does a lot of work like that. And then we have other sites. I don't know how many people are I guess old enough to remember John Jakes, but he was a very famous author back in the I guess the 80s. Wrote a series called North and South. So he has dozens of books. So this is a nice way to display them in a carousel. But then, you can split them up into series. His most two famous series are the first two. So we have them in a drop-down menu, but then you can show all. So you go to North and South, just those books will be listed. But if you want to show all, you can just go there and then see all of the books.
Okay.
So this is they're appearing multiple times on the site, but for different reasons. But then also because his two series are so well known, we add them to the menu also, so you can easily find them there. So that's one. And then, what I'm going to do now is I think I'll just jump into the back end of PubSite. We have a 14-day free trial where you can go in and sign up and try it out for 14 days, and you don't even have to give your credit card at that point.
Okay.
So if you don't like it, you just walk away and you're done. So you sign up for a free trial, and then once you do, you'll come into what's called your dashboard. Let me just make sure it hasn't logged me out. No.
And it's set up for you to build your site yourself?
Yes, this is set up for you to build your site. So you come in here, and this is just a fictitious site. You put your name in there, and then we've set this up as a workflow. So you can just start here with your name, then move on to design. So you can see we offer many different designs. And we're always
like templates that you can use?
Yeah, these are templates you can use, but you can also customize them quite a bit. So right now we have just one. I'll come back to that actually. Let me go through the workflow. Okay, so this is to add an author. You just click on this button to add an author, and I'll do one that's already in here. But as you can see, everything is form-based. So you don't have to play around with HTML or where to put it on the page or how to format it on the page. You just come in and work like you're in Microsoft Word. You know, you just come in here, you can add images, you can add links, you can do anything you want. You upload your photo. And then here's something really nice. To add, you know, every site should have, you know, the follow me buttons. You know, if you're on Facebook or feeds or whatever, Twitter, you know, you should have the follow me buttons. So to add them in PubSite, all you do is you go to your Facebook page, copy the URL, and come back and paste it in. Okay? As soon as you then do that, and you do that, and then as soon as you do that, they will automatically appear up here.
Great.
Okay, you don't have to worry about getting the icons, where to put them, how to put them, getting them to line up or be the same size or anything. They will automatically appear up here. And then you can also add audio and video, and this is the appearances I told you about. To add an appearance, same thing. You fill out a form, and it automatically appears on your website. No worrying about HTML or anything. And for books, it's pretty much the same thing. You just add, you know, add a new product or book, and it's all form-based. But instead of adding a new one, I will open one that's already done. So you just, and because this is all about books and authors, it prompts you for all the relevant book and author information that you should have on your website. So you have the title, ISBN, if you want to set up categories for your book, and then book details. This is the information. You don't have to put in anything you don't want to. But you know, it prompts you to put in this stuff. And you'll probably notice this is all industry standard information. So these fields would pretty much match up with, you know, Ingram Spark or Amazon or whoever. And then the descriptions, again, long and short, just like the author bio, and you just do it yourself. You can add, you know, review quotes down at the bottom. Images is just uploading the book cover. You just click, go find it on your computer and upload it. And then it even prompts you to do some basic search engine optimization. These are the three key SEO fields. So it prompts you to fill them in. And then purchase links. These work the same way as the follow me buttons. So if you want any of these booksellers on your listed on your site, you just go to that site, find your book, copy the URL, come back and paste it in. So for example, on this book we're just looking at, you come here and the buttons are automatically there.
That's great.
And if you want a generic one, if you don't want to use one of these booksellers, and we even have UK and Australia booksellers on here, if you just want to use your publisher website, you can do it here, and then the publisher button would appear. And that would be a link to your publisher. So that works like that. You can also add audio and video. Like, you know, it works just like the MailChimp forms. You just go to YouTube, you put your video on YouTube, which we also have to do. And then you just go there, they give you this little paragraph.
When it says embed.
You come back and paste it in, and that'll appear on that book's page. But you can put it anywhere on your site, really. And then pages and navigation, you have full control. This is your main menu. So essentially, this is what you see here. So if you want to change it, if you want to move it around, you just drag them around. If you want to add additional pages, we have sample ones over here, but you can add a new page and add it.
What you want.
We have a sample media page here. So you can just, if you want, just drag it over here to add it to your site. Then click Save Pages. And then when you refresh your browser, the media page is now there.
This is fabulous, John.
Yeah, and then you can put anything you want on here. And you can do that with all the pages. And then you can also control what is in your sidebar or that left column. And other things, a mailing list, we have a widget already for that. So again, you get that little code from MailChimp, come back and paste it in here, and you have a sign up form on your side column. You can do Facebook feeds. Again, they give you the little snippet of code that you come back and paste it in, and your Facebook feed will appear right here. And as soon as you paste on Facebook, it will appear right here. And then also PubSite, not many authors want to do that, but it has full e-commerce built in. So if you wanted to sell books directly off your site, you know, ship them out of your garage or whatever, not many authors want to do that, but it's built in. It's not turned on by default. And then finally, just on designs, you can just change the design anytime you want. So this is the design now. If you just, you know, we came up with a new design, you said, oh, I like that one. All you have to do is click here, go back, hit refresh, and you have a new design.
So everything will just automatically switch.
Everything automatically switches.
Awesome.
But then also, if you wanted to do some customization, you can come in here. Oh, I don't know. You might not be seeing this because I'm only showing one window. Okay, you're not seeing that.
Oh, yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Right, okay. But anyway, what you can do is you can go in and customize the entire color scheme, or you can add, instead of having just your name and text up here, you can add a graphical header, which is what we did, say, for this site. And there's a site called Canva, C-A-N-V-A.
Yes, I love Canva.
Oh, isn't it great?
I
so
use
that's
it all
what we do. We just go to Canva, find a background image, lay the text over it, and voila, you have a nice banner that you can upload and put at the top of your website.
Yeah.
So that's sort of an overview of PubSite. We're very excited about it. We're trying to get the word out. As I said, we just started it this year, but we already have about 80 websites on it. But we're going for a lot more.
So you host them at PubSite?
Yes.
You host the site?
Yeah, after your 14-day free trial, if you're going to stay with it, you activate your account, and then it's $19.99 a month after that, and that's for use of the platform and website hosting.
And you get an email address with the URL in it?
With your domain name?
Yeah.
No, we don't currently offer that.
Okay.
What we tell you is if you register your domain at GoDaddy, they offer email under your domain name.
Okay.
And it's just like, I think it starts off at about as little as like $2 or $3 a month.
Right.
And you can they will then give you the email address that's your domain name, and you know, whatever, your name at your domain.
Right. Or you can do that with Google. I think it's $10 a month with Google.
Yeah, with Google. And again, the good thing there also is, again, if you ever decide to move where your website is, your domain name and your email are set and you never have to move them.
Yeah, I did that because my host, I switched hosts 2 or 3 years ago, and I suddenly started getting tons of spam. And so I just bought, you know, that email address with Google, which, you know, filters spam much better. So
yeah, they have I think a basic one, but they have what's called the G Suite.
That's what I did. I did the G Suite. That's what you have to buy in order to get your domain name and your email address.
Right. Okay. And that has a lot more. That has like calendars and all sorts of other things.
Yeah, it has bells and whistles I don't use. It's $10 a month though, so it's more than what you were saying.
Right. At GoDaddy, I think they were off for a while. They were sort of forcing you to take Office 365, but now they don't do that.
Okay,
they got some pushback on that. So now you can just get a simple email account for a few dollars a month, I think.
Oh, that's good. So this is a really economical way for, so you're not charging them for the time they spend building the site. You only charge them once they publish the site after the first.
Correct. And you know, we do Some authors don't even want to do that. So we offer a low-cost setup fee.
Mm-hmm.
It's $399, and it gets you all of this.
Okay.
You can choose a design. We'll change the colors. If you do have a graphical header, we'll put it in.
Mm-hmm.
We'll add your author bio and photo, the follow me buttons, up to 2 books, including the book covers, descriptions, the bookseller buy buttons, the navigation menu, and the contact form and blog are all set up. So for $399, we will do it for you.
Okay. The
And
basic
then we have
price.
we can add on extras. Like if you want, we'll set up the whole MailChimp for you.
Right,
The
right.
thing in the forms, we'll do
Mm-hmm.
that. So
For an additional cost, yeah.
so if you don't want to do it yourself, like some authors just absolutely will not. They
Yeah,
just
a lot of the
contact us and say,
time, yeah.
no, you do it. I don't
Yeah.
want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
We do offer these low cost packages to set
Yeah,
up.
it's very reasonable.
Yeah, so you can have a very nice looking site for $400 that will
Mhm.
set up for you.
Yeah, this is great. This is absolutely terrific. Okay. I'm very excited to share this with people because I think there are definitely people who are following me who are going to be interested. So,
Yeah, absolutely. It's for authors. We think a really huge market is really any authors, but
hmm
self-publishing and hybrid authors. They're spending a lot of money developing their book.
right. Yeah.
So spend it there and get a very low
Yeah.
cost website.
I agree. Yeah, because it can be very expensive, which is something I preach all the time that you have to hire a professional editor for your book.
Right. Oh, editor, page layout,
Cover design. Yeah, all that
cover
stuff.
design.
Yeah.
Yeah, so come to us and get a very low cost website.
Yeah, it's terrific. It's great. Okay, this is great. Is there
And
anything
we're
else?
going to be continually improving it and
Mm-hmm.
adding more designs, so it'll only get better and better.
Great. And is it pubsite.com? Pub
Yeah,
dash
it's actually pub-site.com.
Okay, great. I'll put a link when I put the interview up, I will include the link.
Yeah,
So,
some British pub organization had pubsite.com.
oh. Yeah, it's not exactly the same thing, is it?
Yeah, not exactly.
Yeah. Well, John, thank you so much. This is,
Oh, and then just one other thing, it's
yeah.
also suitable for publishers.
Oh, okay.
So if you have a small publisher and an author who's trying to do their own publishing, I'll show you one site.
Okay.
This is a company that did it. Because in PubSite, you can enter as many authors as you want.
Oh, right.
Here's
Okay.
a MailChimp pop-up form that you can
Uh-huh.
put in. But yeah, you can add as many authors as you want, and then they're in a drop-down like this.
Mm-hmm.
So you go there, whatever books they wrote will show up on their page. And also, if they have appearances, they will show up on their page.
Okay.
So
Great.
each author can have a page like this. And, this is a small publisher. It's owned by the Careys. So she's one of the owners. But there's a lot of publishers out there like that now who are, maybe get together 2 or 3 authors and create a publishing house.
Mm-hmm.
And it's ideal for them also.
Perfect. That's terrific. Well, is there anything else you want to share before we sign off?
No, I think that's probably it. If anybody has questions, the contact form on PubSite, as soon as I get back to it, sorry. Yeah, if you go to the contact form on PubSite, this form comes to me, so you can everybody can find me.
Great. Okay. This is terrific. I'm going to put this on Facebook and YouTube and put it out on Twitter and Instagram so people will find out about it.
Okay, that sounds great. And I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Yeah. All right, John. Thank you so much. This was fun.
Okay. Thank you very much, Melanie.
Okay. Take it easy.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.
And stop recording.